The 4th of June, and coming up this weekend, a lot of people are going to be paying attention to horse racing.
Yes.
Because something could happen this weekend. Hasn't happened in a long time. And we brought an expert from Prairie Meadows with us right now. How about the track announcer from Prairie Meadows? John Hernandez is here. Good to see you, my friend.
Always good to be with you.
So, will it happen?
That is the $64 million question.
Not $1,000, $64 million.
6 o'clock our time on Saturday afternoon, American Pharoah will take a shot at becoming the 12th Triple Crown champion and the first since 1978. So you mentioned the Star Trek movie. That was 4 years after the last one.
1978.
Really?
Yes. I graduated high school.
Time it's happened.
Yes. And we were blessed in the 70s because we had three.
I said there was a multiple.
Secretariat, Seattle Slew, and Affirmed.
Yeah, so it seemed to be old hat by then, yeah.
Well, for people that might not be as familiar with horse racing as you are, why is this such a difficult feat to achieve?
Well, you're talking about 3-year-old horses having to run 3 pretty grueling races within the space of, well, the Derby, then 2 weeks later the Preakness, and then 3 weeks later the Belmont at 1.5 miles, which is a really long race, longer than they'll ever have to run on a big giant racetrack at Belmont Park in New York, and that's really the test of champions. And so we thought it was easy in the 70s. We figured we'd see more, and now we've had 13 have won both legs, and 12 have failed. 1 didn't even make it to the Belmont, and now we have horse number 14 with a chance for a Triple Crown for the first time since '70.
So it really takes a special horse.
Yes, it takes a super horse, and they're talking about American Pharoah, the Derby and Preakness winner, as though he's a super horse, but you really never know until they get out on that racetrack at Belmont Park.
The thing that's amazing is you see the horses and they line up, and I'm sure experts can look at them and say, oh, this one just looks stronger than the other ones, but it looks like an average horse, but when it comes out of the gate, it just flies.
Yeah, heart, lungs, legs, breeding, training, so much goes into it, and you really never know until you get that horse out on the racetrack. Now, American Pharoah in the hands of one of the great trainers of all time, Bob Baffert, been successful many years out in California and has stretched out over the course of his career to win big races, and now has a chance again. This is not the first time that Bob Baffert has sent a horse to the Belmont with a chance for a Triple Crown. He thinks it's his best.
So is it all the races in a row that's the biggest factor, or is it the distance, the length of the Belmont?
It's a combination of factors. Typically, it's the series of races in that short duration, the distance going from 1.25 miles, 1 mile and 3/16, and then 1.5 miles on a big giant racetrack. If you've never been to Belmont Park, it's 1.5 miles around. They only go 1 lap around, but it's 1.5 miles, and it's a big, gigantic racetrack.
Put that in perspective to what it looks like compared to Prairie Meadows.
Prairie Meadows, 1 mile track.
Okay.
But at Belmont Park, if you don't bring your binoculars, you can't see to the other side of the racetrack. It's
really
that big.
Yeah.
And
1.5 mile track. That's like Charlotte Motor Speedway. That's 1.5 mile track.
And you talk to jockeys who have ridden out there, and they say you're on that turn, and you think the turn is never going to end.
Right.
You're on that turn forever, and then you get to the top of the stretch, and you still have 1/4 mile to go before you get to the finish line. So that's the test, that final 1/4 mile, and that's what's gotten so many of the horses who have tried.
So what's this guy's secret, do you think, that gets so many horses and puts them in that position?
Rich owners.
Yeah. Oh, that helps. Money always helps.
Yeah.
So what's your prediction? I know we're not going to know until it officially happens this weekend, but what's your prediction of what's going to happen?
My prediction is that American Pharoah will win.
Really?
And I say that for a variety of reasons.
Okay.
One, I haven't seen anybody in the first 2 legs of the Triple Crown who I think can beat American Pharoah.
No real challengers?
No, I don't see anybody stepping out of the Derby or the Preakness with an excuse in those races and saying, okay, if things go their way this time, they're going to be right there at the top of the stretch and have a chance to run him down. Unless somebody completely reverses form, I don't see it happening.
And there's nobody waiting in the wings?
I don't think so. I don't think that any of the horses in this race on Saturday have shown the ability to beat this horse. Now, that said, if somebody goes out and tries to pressure him early in the race and make him do something he hasn't done, which is withstand some early pace pressure, that may change things. But if he's allowed to go out there on the lead, dictate a pretty sensible pace, it's like running. You know, if you can go out there by yourself, dictate a sensible pace, you'll have plenty left at the end. But if somebody's breathing down your back and you're thinking, uh-oh, what am I going to have at the end of the race? It may be different. That's the only scenario I see beating American Pharoah, unless it's something completely out of the blue, stumble out of the gate, something unusual that we haven't seen before.
Do we know where he's starting yet?
He's starting in the 5th post position, right in the middle of the track, and I think that that bodes well for his chances. I'd rather be there than, say, down on the rail or out on the outside, right in the middle of the pack, see how it breaks. And if he's the one out in front, he'll just go. If somebody else tries to go, he'll probably just sit. And we'll see when they get to the head of the stretch if he's got what it takes to become the next Triple Crown.
If you haven't been following him with previous races, does he have a certain way that he runs? Like, do we look for him to go on the inside, the outside? Is there a certain way that or placement that he likes to be in, so we know if he is doing exactly what he's supposed to be doing?
In the Derby, he was able to just sit and get the lead. In the Preakness, contested over a sloppy, muddy racetrack, he went to the front and just sat there. If it's raining, if it's wet in New York, I'm not sure what the weather holds for the weekend, but that really bodes into his favor as well.
Okay.
What does it mean financially for the owner and the trainer should they win the Triple Crown?
Well, get this. They've already sold the breeding rights to American Pharoah.
Hasn't even run the race yet.
Hasn't even run the race, hasn't even finished his racing career. They've already sold the breeding rights.
What does that mean exactly?
This means that other people are going to pay them huge sums of money to have their mares bred to
With
American Pharoah.
Okay.
Now, just winning the first 2 legs, that ups the price considerably. It's going to go way through the roof if he wins all 3
Do you think
legs.
people will be negotiating between now and Saturday too to get the price before, if in fact he does win the race, so they get
Perhaps. I'm sure there's talks going on right now, even as we speak.
Now, for those that don't know, what happens to American Pharoah after this race, after Saturday's race? Is he done racing?
Does he retire?
I think he's going to be done.
He'll be
if
done.
he wins the Triple Crown, he's done. I think no matter what happens, I think he's done.
Wow. And people want to bet on this race coming up on Saturday. You have a chance to go over to
Yes.
Prairie Meadows, and you don't have to travel over to Belmont, New York.
No, it would be nice to travel to Belmont. I was there for 3 Belmonts in the 2000s when there was the Triple Crown on the line. Didn't get to see one happen, but I'll be at Prairie Meadows on Saturday. We'll have plenty of opportunities up on the 4th floor, simulcast center. It'll be packed, so if you're going to go out there, get there early.
New York City forecast for Saturday, partly sunny 78, Saturday night clear 56. So
Okay,
there's no rain
fair
in the
track. It'll be
forecast.
fair. It'll be fair for everyone.
So you are predicting, John is predicting
American Pharoah Triple Crown champion 2015.
the first Triple Crown winner since 1978.
Since the great affirmed in 1978.
There it is.
That would be an
Wonderful.
incredible moment.
It would
Perfect.
be. It would be. I wish I could be there to see it in person. That was always #1 on my bucket list of things I wanted to see. I've kind of made peace with the fact that I'm not going to be there, probably, considering my work and personal schedule and family schedule. It was fun to have a chance. I was there for Smarty Jones in 2004, down on the rail, which would be like with the checkered flag in your hand, watching Smarty Jones turn for home with a big lead and then get caught late. And I thought I was going to see a Triple Crown in
darn.
person. Didn't get to see it.
All right. Well, in case you go out to Prairie Meadows and you hear that guy to get your blood pumping, it's the hair standing up on your arms. Had to be this guy here. It's John. And okay, then we're going to put you to work here. We have an hour to go on the show,
Yep.
so we're coming down the stretch. I want you to say we're coming down the stretch on Great Day. Stick around. An hour to go.
We're coming down the stretch on
Right there. Which camera? Right
Thursday.
here.
Right here.
Oh, there we are. We're coming down the stretch on a Thursday on Great Day.